Glad to have you with us here on Seattle Seahawks today. Tyler Jones here as we are reacting to ESPN's latest roster breakdown for your Seattle Seahawks. They rank the Seahawks as the 16th best roster in the National Football League. We'll go over their takeaways and their projected starters for Seattle and give you our thoughts and analysis coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, all month long here on Seahawks Today, we have been battling the 49ers report in a comment battle to see who can get the most comments on videos for the month of June. And I have good news to report. We have a lead, but ever so slightly, folks. We want to make sure we run up the score with just a few days left in the month of June. So here's what I need from the folks out there. If you're a real member of the 12s and you hate the San Francisco 49ers, spam 12 in the chat. I need at least 500 comments today. Get those 12s popping. 12 stand up, and we'll get started with today's show. According to ESPN, the biggest strength for the Seahawks roster is their wide receiver room, and rightfully so. When you talk about DK Metcalf coming off a Pro Bowl campaign, Tyler Lockett is back, and high hopes are out there for JSN of what he could do stepping into his second year in the Seahawks offense. ESPN called this an elite trio between these three, and I agree. And when you add in Jake Bobo and Chenault to the mix, you could make a case this very well might be the best receiving core in the National Football League, especially since the Bengals no longer have Tyler Boyd now. Watch out. The Seahawks are going to be a force to be reckoned with this receiving core leading the way. The biggest weakness, this should come as a surprise to no one, is the offensive line, with question marks really across the board. Charles Cross has not lived up to expectations as a first-round pick. You bring in Laken Tomlinson at the left guard spot, and he's coming off a down year with the New York Jets. Olu Owatimi and Nick Harris competing for that starting center spot. More on that we'll talk about later. The right guard position is up in the air, some young guys there. And then you look at the right tackle spot, Abraham Lucas. Can he stay healthy? Is that knee going to hold up? What we've seen from John Schneider over the last few years when it comes to this offensive line, they have literally just been throwing stuff against the wall. And so far what we've seen the last few years, nothing has really stuck for this offensive line. Nothing has really worked. The big key, Charles Cross, has to step up and do his part and look like the first-round talent that he was a couple years ago. The X factor for Seattle, according to ESPN, is JSN. Just how good is JSN going to be? Is it going to be an 800 or 900-yard season, which would be very solid, or is he going to take a massive step forward and be a 1,000-plus-yard receiver and be a Pro Bowl caliber great wideout? We've heard from camp that he was Geno Smith's favorite target this offseason. He's been the star of the offseason, if you will. I don't think there was a day that went by where Mike McDonald did not talk about Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now it's his time to take that mantle from Tyler Lockett and establish himself as that wide receiver too, and I think he's more than capable of doing so. The non-starter to keep an eye on, to know about, according to ESPN, is edge rusher Derek Hall. Derek Hall entering his second season with Seattle after a disappointing campaign as a rookie. And it's no secret that he had a down year last year. And he's got work to do to become an impact player. And the Seahawks are going to need that from him in 2024 in that edge rusher rotation. Derek Hall, it's put up or shut up time for him. Before we go over the roster and the starting lineup projection from ESPN, how would you grade this Seahawks roster entering 2024? Give me your grades, A, B, C, D, or F, in the comment section below. I feel like it's about a B+. If I'm going to be honest with you, what do you guys think? Weigh in. Let me know in the comment section below. Seahawks Today continues to bring you nonstop Seahawks coverage. Sometimes we're bringing you 2+ videos a day with news and rumors. We're bringing you live shows twice a week, Madden Sims for every game this season. And on top of that, we're bringing you interactive mailbags and all the breaking news. Anytime there's a signing, additions to the roster, we're bringing you a video as quick as we can here on the channel. Help us reach our next milestone of 53,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today. Just over 400 away from reaching that mark. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Now to the projected starters for Seattle. No shocker, Geno Smith, your starting quarterback. And then we go to the running back room where ESPN is projecting that we will see both Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in the starting lineup in 2024. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, I think this makes a ton of sense. Kenneth Walker has had 2 very good seasons of over 900-plus yards. He's been a little injury-riddled, though. But Zach Charbonnet, I'm expecting him to play more of a role in this Seahawks offense this year, especially in the receiving game. We know that Ryan Grubb wants to run a lot of screens, and guys like Charbonnet and others are going to be depended upon to make impacts in the receiving game out of the backfield. Charbonnet is going to be a big key to that. DK Metcalf is your lead receiver. No surprise there. Tyler Lockett is back. JSN, as we mentioned earlier. And then Noah Fant. He's got a new contract. No Will Dissly, no Colby Parkinson anymore. Noah Fant is going to have to be the guy to step up. All eyes are on JSN to see him as this X factor if he can become an elite receiver in this league, but also don't sleep on Noah Fant and his potential impact in the passing game. We saw with the Seattle Seahawks over the last couple of seasons where they ignored the tight end position, right? And that's not going to be the case anymore with what Ryan Grubb wants to do. Noah Fant, he's been paid the money of a top tight end in the NFL. Now he's got to look the part and deliver. We'll see what he can bring to the table. One guy that we're excited about in Seattle is Byron Murphy, and his jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/Murphy. He'll wear the number 91, so just add a 9 to that, and you can get the home jersey, the road jersey, the alternate action green, all sorts of different sizes, men's and women's options available, free shipping as well. Go to chatsports.com/Murphy to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Murphy. Rounding out the offense for Seattle, the offensive line. Charles Cross, your starting left tackle. Laken Tomlinson steps in as the starting left guard as he joins Seattle from the New York Jets. And then a bit of a surprise, ESPN projecting Nick Harris to win the starting center job over Olu Olutimi. We'll have more on that coming up in just a second. Anthony Bradford slides in as your starting right guard, winning the job over Christian Haynes in a very competitive right guard room that also includes McClendon Curtis. And then the right tackle spot, Abraham Lucas, healthy enough, makes enough progress to be ready to go for when the season begins to start at right tackle. Barring some sort of injury, personally, I don't think there's any chance that Nick Harris is the starting center over Olu Olutimi. Everything we've heard is that this coaching staff is sold on Olu and his talent and his capabilities, that he's going to be a very good player in the National Football League. Part of the reason why they moved on from Evan Brown was the confidence they had in Olu. Nick Harris, I think, is going to be a very good backup, and he's got capabilities to play the fullback spot as well. But I would be very shocked if Nick Harris wins the job over Olu. But nonetheless, you have depth at the position. Pick a center. Do you agree with me, or do you agree with fake news ESPN that Nick Harris starts at center? What do you guys think? Type Olu for Olutimi. Type Nick for Nick Harris. Let us know in the comments section below. To the defense we go. This is where we find Leonard Williams coming back his second year in Seattle. He was the best player on the Seahawks defense in the second half of the season in 2023. Jaron Reed also remains in the starting lineup despite the addition of Byron Murphy. This is what ESPN is projecting the Seahawks go with on their defensive line, with all 3 guys, and the odd man out being Draymond Jones. We've heard that Draymond Jones could be playing some of the edge rusher position potentially. And I got to say, credit where credit's due to John Schneider, Mike McDonald, and company. This group was viewed as a weakness for the Seahawks not too long ago, in particular struggling to defend the run. And now, overnight, this offseason, this has become a strength of this team. And also, don't sleep on Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan Hankins will be a guy that rotates in, and he's got plenty of experience. He's played at a high level. He'll be a very good backup. So I have a lot of confidence in this defensive line to get the job done. This is a really good group. It's now one of the best position groups for Seattle. Continuing on at the edge rusher position, Uchenna Nwosu is back from injury after he suffered a season-ending injury last year. Boye Mafe coming off a strong second season in Seattle where he led the Seahawks in sacks and set the franchise record for most consecutive games with a sack with 7. Jerome Baker at linebacker comes over from the Miami Dolphins, as does Terrell Dodson joining Seattle from Buffalo. They replace Jordan Brooks and Bobby Wagner at the linebacker spots. And I'll say this, with Baker and Dodson having their injuries prior to camp, they're both expected to be back for training camp, but we'll see. I'm a little concerned with that position because of the lack of depth. Once you move on from Baker and Dodson, you look at the other guys and you say, there's just not a whole lot there. You got Knight, the rookie, who still needs some developing. John Radigan is still involved, but he hasn't been much more of a special teams guy throughout his career. So there's some depth issues, but you need Baker and Dodson to get healthy. I think if they stay healthy, you're going to like what you see from those two. Who is your favorite player on the Seahawks roster in 2024? Here's what I need you to do. Whoever it is, no wrong answers here, spam their name in the comment section. Show them some love here on today's show. We round out the defense with Devin Witherspoon at the corner spot. He's expected to play the nickelback position, coming off a very good rookie campaign. And we've heard nothing but good things from Mike McDonald, calling him the smartest player he's ever seen. Rick Woolen also at the outside corner spot, had a disappointing year last year. Really struggled with tackling, but he's had a good offseason so far to this point. Mike Jackson gets the edge over Trey Brown to start at the other outside corner spot. I think that's going to be a very good competition that should come down to the very end between those two, both of them with plenty of starting experience. Julian Love coming off a Pro Bowl campaign. He is back. He is the most experienced among Seahawk players coming back at the safety position. Watch out for an extension for him sometime soon as well. And then Rayshawn Jenkins comes over from the Jacksonville Jags. I liked Rayshawn Jenkins a lot. He was a turnover machine. I think he's a good fit for what Seattle wants to do. I think looking at Trey and Mike battling for that outside corner spot, I like Trey a little bit more than Mike Jackson, but I could see that going either way. Some depth questions at the safety spot. I like Love and I like Jenkins, but you look at Kayvon Wallace, for example. Is he more of a corner? Is he more of a safety? Kobe Bryant, can he stay healthy and can he develop as a safety? Those are some question marks heading into 2024. If you made it to the end of today's video, spam Hawks in the comment section. Thanks for watching. I'm Tyler Jones, and we will see you next time here on Seahawks Today.